Alright, what's happening everybody? I'm back for today's final vlog, here to talk about the Chick-fil-A Bowl between number 8 LSU and number 14 Clemson. Now I believe that other than Texas A&M Cotton Bowl matchup against Oklahoma, this is the most intriguing non-BCS bowl game between these two teams. Both Clemson and LSU are 10-2, and this is going to be a matchup between a great offense from Clemson against a great defense from LSU. Now I'm going to start things off with Clemson. They averaged 42 points per game, led by quarterback Tosh Boyd. He had 3,500 yards, 3,550 yards passing, 34 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions. Now he has great talent around him. Talking about mainly the receivers, DeAndre Hopkins. He was first team All-ACC, leading the conference with 1,214 yards receiving. And do not forget about freshman All-American Sammy Watkins. He's a sophomore this season, but he's still a prolific receiver for Clemson. He had over 700 yards receiving this season. Not as good as a freshman, but he's a big distraction against many defenses in college football. And do not forget about running back Andre Miller. Andre Ellington, he had his second consecutive 1,000-yard season, over 1,034 yards, 5.1 yards per carry, and a couple of scores. He's a good running back, a good running back prospect for the 2013 NFL Draft. I see him being more of a second half of a tandem for an NFL team. He's a good running back, good speed. I like him a lot. Now defensively, Clemson is known to having great pass rushers. This season, their best pass rusher is Vic Beasley. Yes, he only has 8 sacks this season, but he missed 5 games this year and still registered 8 sacks, leading the team. And they also have a good defensive back in Rashard Hall, 69 tackles and 4 interceptions defensively. I think this defense is a talented team. One position in particular they need more help on is at linebacker, because Stephon Anthony and Tony Stewart have not been living up to expectations. There were 2 of the top prospects at linebacker a couple years ago coming out of high school. Now they're just sophomores, so they have 2 years left for Clemson, and they need to step it up. I really believe in these 2 players, and they just need to live up to their expectations. Now overall, this defense allows 24 points per game. Now heading over to LSU, their defense is just sick. 2 players in particular I like, Sam Montgomery and Eric Reed. Starting with Sam Montgomery, he's a good, highly talented defensive end, good prospect for next season's NFL Draft. 7 sacks this season, and he is a relentless player. Now for Eric Reed, he is a hard hitter, and he's a good tackler, 81 tackles and 2 interceptions. He's a good center field safety. He's going to be all over the field in this matchup. Now offensively, they have a bunch of running backs that they use in their ground attack, and they pound the rock hard. Talk about this LSU offense. They have Jeremy Hill, Kenny Hilliard, Spencer Ware, and Michael Ford. Any of these 4 players can get the ball, and they will run the ball very hard and give you some effective yards, 5.5 yards per carry between these 4 players combined. But there is a little bit of a disappointment this season at the quarterback position with Zach Mettenberger. He's a transfer from Georgia, and I had a lot of high expectations of his performance this season. He has just 11 touchdown passes and 6 interceptions, just under 2,500 yards passing this season. I thought for finally LSU has a good passing quarterback when Mettenberger decided to transfer and play for the Tigers, but he did not live up to expectations this season. I'm a little bit disappointed in him, and I think if he had performed better, LSU would have had at the most 1 loss this season and probably make it to the SEC championship over Alabama and play Georgia for that championship matchup. I think he had a little bit of a disappointing year, but still at 10-2, they did get to 10-win season, and I will give him respect for that. Now the winner for this matchup, I'm going to actually go with LSU. I think they're going to pound the rock effectively and stop the passing attack for Clemson. So I think LSU is going to have a good game. Eric Reed is going to be all over the field, showcase his skills for the 2013 NFL Draft. I think he's a highly talented prospect at the safety position, and this is one of his last chance if he decides to come out this season at the end of the year to the 2013 NFL Draft. I think he's a good player. He's going to be all over the field. I think he's going to be due for a good matchup. So I'm going to have to go with LSU over Clemson. Now, I'm going to catch you guys tomorrow on New Year's Day. I wish everybody a happy new year. I hope everybody has fun today, and most importantly, be safe out there. Don't do anything crazy. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Thank you for watching today's vlogs. I'm your man, Akeem McCall. be easy.